Hello everyone, welcome to KGS IAS English. This side Manish. As you know, we have started a series on maps named as Daily Map Drill. So in today's map drill, we will discuss about South China Sea. But why we are talking about South China Sea? Because in 2016, a court of arbitration has given a landmark decision which is rejected by China, and China is still on that position. That's why it is in news. So let's start with South China Sea and its disputed areas and the court of arbitration verdict also. So we will discuss all those things along with this map drill. So why it is in news? Because China rejects South China Sea ruling on 10-year anniversary. China said disputes involving territorial sovereignty and maritime delimitation fall outside the scope of compulsory dispute settlement procedure under United Nations Convention Law on Sea. This body, UNCLOS, is known as United Nations Convention Law on Sea. So this is a governing body which usually takes the matter which is related to sea. That's why it is Convention Law of the Sea. So it is a sole body which create sea related disputes and the law related with it. According to UNCLOS, if we take just India, if we take the example of India, if this is India, India have a coastal boundary of 11,098 kilometers. So according to United Nations Convention Law on Sea, if here it is Mangalore, if a person is going from Mangalore to 200 nautical miles, then this area is considered as EEZ. What is EEZ? This EEZ is economic exclusive economic zone. This is exclusive economic zone. From this area, India can explore or India can mine out or drill the oils, natural resources, fishing, but with due permission of United Nations Convention Law on Sea. So we have United Nations Seabed Authority. So Seabed Authority is the governing body on the sea, and the law-making body is United Nations Convention Law of the Sea. So by their due permission, we can easily extract the minerals, natural resources, oil reserves. We have the access to this region because this is an international kind of treaty, an international kind of law which make the things available for India. As you know, from Mumbai, here a place named as Mumbai High, which is a oil driller of ONGC. ONGC usually extracts 60% of crude oil from this place known as Mumbai High, which is a sole property of India. With the help of Japan, we had installed a driller named as Sagar Samrat, which helps to extract this oil from Arabian Sea. And Arabian Sea have the sovereignty because United Nations Convention on Law of Sea gave us the permission or gave us the liberty to extract those oil. In the same way, South China Sea have so many countries is associated with it. So in 2016, Court of Arbitration have given a landmark verdict claiming that because China is claiming some positions in South China Sea and they rejected the claims of Philippines. That's why Philippines filed this case, and this verdict came in the favor of Philippines, which is usually rejected by China, and China is still rejecting it. That's why we are studying this. So what is the context of this particular thing? So you can see that China strongly renewed its rejection of the historic 2016 Permanent Court of Arbitration ruling on its South China Sea claims, declaring the legal decision illegal and invalid on its 10th anniversary. So China is saying that whatever the decision given by the Permanent Court of Arbitration that was filed by the Philippines is invalid and illegal on its 10th anniversary. That's why we are studying South China Sea. China considered the map of 1947 in which there are 9 dash lines are there. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they considered these 9 dash line as the integral part of China. Every country have some historical background, like India have Mauryan Empire. So till the Kandahar, we have the land of India. So we never claim on today's basis that we have Kandahar. Yeah, Kandahar is the sovereignty of India. Yeah, Kandahar is the sole part of India. But China is still claiming the 1947 map, and according to that map, they are saying that they have the complete control over South China Sea. And what's the problem if China claims the South China Sea? If China claims this particular region, these small countries like Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, Philippines have a huge loss, because China will do everything in this particular region, because it is a major oil reserves, gas reserves, as well as it is a major fishing ground of the world and the major trade route. Strait of Malacca gave the entry to the Indian Ocean from the Pacific Ocean. So it is a junction point between the Pacific and the Indian Ocean, and this is a huge part. So that's why this can create a chaos. Like right now we are facing oil crisis, gas crisis due to Strait of Hormuz, due to the war claimed by the Iran, Israel and the USA. Due to that conflict, already world had suffered. If China in future claiming this particular reason, there must be a war, because these countries will be in chaos. So that's why this part is always in news. And right now China is saying that whatever the decision given by the United Nations bodies and the Court of Arbitrations ruling, and they are illegal and invalid because they are interfering in their internal matters. But this is not so, because China have the land till this part, and in the southern part they have South China Sea. So moving forward, where is South China Sea on map? So here China is there, and this is Taiwan. Its former name is Formosa. Here Strait of Formosa is there. Here this strait is known as Strait of Malacca. And this particular region is named as South China Sea. This is Gulf of Thailand. This is South China Sea. We will deep down this. So South China Sea is a place which is in the southern portion of China. That's why it's get a name of South China Sea. Here some nations are there like Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei, Vietnam, here Cambodia, Thailand. Uh, in the beneath segment, there is a Singapore is also there. So what is South China Sea? So the South China Sea is a critical marginal sea forming part of the Western Pacific. It is a part of Western Pacific Ocean. It is one of the most economically and strategically vital body of waters in the world, functioning as a primary global maritime highway and focus on complex overlapping and territorial dispute. That's why we are studying. Due to this territorial disputes, China is claiming, China is saying that the court of arbitration rulings are illegal and invalid. That's why South China Sea is always in news. Moving forward, South China Sea have some islands which are very much disputed. Some countries saying that these, like Paracel Islands, till 1964, China claiming that these are the islands of China. If China is claiming these islands till the 386-kilometer boundary, because 200 nautical miles is equivalent to 386 kilometers. So from this region, China can claim the 386-kilometer region for its gas purpose, oil purpose, crude purpose, fishing purpose. In the same way, Spratly Islands is also claimed by China. That's why Philippines, Taiwan, Malaysia, Vietnam, they also came into this dispute. They also claim that these positions have the sole purpose and the sovereignty of these nations. Philippines is one of them, and same thing Taiwan is doing, Vietnam is doing. So how many countries are associated with South China Sea? First thing, we will do the drill around this South China Sea. So when you see this is South China Sea, here a famous strait is named as Strait of Malacca, which gave the entry to here Andaman Islands. And recently we are developing the Great Nicobar Islands. So that's why this part is very important. Singapore is just a small country find in the South China Sea. So when you deep down the South China Sea, you will find some straits like Strait of Malacca, beneath it Sunda Strait and Lombok Strait. But how many countries are associated with South China Sea? So here, firstly, China is have the adjacent boundary with South China Sea, Taiwan, Philippines, here Brunei, Malaysia, Indonesia, here Singapore is also there, This is Strait of Malacca, which give to the which is a passage which connecting the Pacific Ocean to the Indian Ocean. Here Malaysia is there. Here Vietnam is there. Gulf of Thailand have the boundary with Thailand and Cambodia. Laos is a landlocked, but from Laos, if somebody wants to go to the South China Sea, there is a route with Vietnam. Another route is from Thailand, and some portions they have to pass from the Cambodia till Vietnam, and they can reach the South China Sea. So major nations which are associated with South China Sea is China, Taiwan, Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Vietnam. But the dispute are between 3-4 countries like Philippines, Brunei, Malaysia, and Vietnam. And the main purpose and the main reason for the dispute is these small islands like Paracel and Spratly Islands. These are Paracel Island and these are the Spratly Island. Talking about the Spratly Islands, a vast collection of more than small 100 islands. These dots are those islands, reefs, atolls in the southern sector, claimed in whole or part by China. China is claiming that the complete part is theirs. But Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia, Taiwan also claim this part. Secondly, the Paracel Island. First, the matter of dispute is Spratly Island. And second one is Paracel Island because till 1964, China is claiming this part. So located in the northwestern corner, controlled entirely by China since 1974, but actively claimed by Vietnam and Taiwan. So recently, Vietnam and Taiwan give a lot of interest in the Paracel Island. That's why this South China Sea always takes the headlines in the newspaper, in the news, and in the current affairs. So this is the part. The major countries which are associated with South China Sea is in the upward part: China, Taiwan, Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, and Vietnam. These are the different countries which are associated, like Malaysia, Brunei, Philippines, Vietnam, and this is Taiwan. And here strait named as Strait of Formosa because the former name of Taiwan is Formosa. So this is the major thing. Here, this is Paracel Islands and these are the Spratly Islands. You have a practice question of today's session. The South China Sea disputes involve which of the following countries? China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1 and 4, 1 and 2 only, 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2 and 3, 2, 3 and 4. So which is the right answer? Please uh, do the comment in the comment section for the correct answer, and I will carry this series forward on your response. If you are finding this series interesting, please let me know in the comment section. I will meet you in the further session of this map drill, and we had created a separate playlist for this. You can easily access the previous episodes of this series, and you can complete all the aspects of map with this series. And please let me know about the feedback of this session. Thank you so much for watching this. Have a great day to everyone. Thank you so much.